guessed it, the bye week is over. One of my favorite weeks covering Alabama football is here. LSU week. And this time around, it'll be in Death Valley, Tiger Stadium, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You're rocking and rolling right now. Hottest show on these streets, bringing you the Alabama football news on a Monday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to have you all checking us out here on the show. We bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham, streaming it to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you know what time it is. Get everybody you know, everybody in the street that you know, hit that subscribe button right now. Every friend, every family member, every diehard Bama fan, casual Bama fan, consumer of Crimson Tide football, get them to subscribe right now, because if you love the content, they will also. Also, give us a like on the show. Hit that thumbs up, raise those likes up, leave a like on the show. Appreciate the support from you guys. Let's get this right now. 50 likes out the gate. Show the love, show the support right here to TDA's In My Own Words. Also, all donations welcomed. All donations appreciated. We got that daily super chat goal of $75. Jimmy Cash Money Clay already starting us off with that $50 donation in the super chats. Dancing Steven, he's back at it again. Khaki pants and all there on the desk right there. So all donations welcome and appreciated. That daily super chat goal, $75. We thank you, the Bama faithful, making this your show, your network platform and space to talk Bama. Be sure to turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell, so that way you miss nothing when it comes down to your Crimson Tide. Got you covered on Facebook and Twitter as well, streaming to you the show. And Eli, we got a great one, man. Got a fire one today. I mean, we got my man Justin Smith, lead scouting and recruiting analyst, coming on at 6:30, a little bit later on the show, to give his thoughts on with Auburn firing Brian Harsin today. They pink slipped him, they gave him the boot, they dropped the axe on him after Auburn fired Brian Harsin. Of course, they owe him the $15 million buyout. Well, I would love to be a head coach, man. You can be terrible, and they still got to pay you. But the $15+ million buyout there for Coach Harsin. Now, what does this mean for Alabama and Auburn in terms of guys in this 2023 class that have sort of iron bow ties to them? It's going to be fun talking with Justin on that. But also, 205-448-1358. That's the number to call. We want to hear from you, the Bama family tonight. Light us up, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. But right now, jump to the first topic here of conversation for your Crimson Tide. Taking on LSU this weekend on Saturday at Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Will be a night game, 6 p.m. on ESPN. And for me, Eli, as much as we want to see this Alabama offense step up at wide receiver, step up in terms of the rushing attack, Coach Saban spoke today about. He went right at Bill O'Brien. He said, we got to be able to run the football. We got to be able to be diverse in what we want to do, execute that, but show some diversity, some creativity. So my man Jay from Sheffield, everything you've been saying, Jay, all offseason about Bill O'Brien, Coach Saban has finally caught up with it. The Saban said today, and O'Brien in the press conference, got to have some more diversity in this run game. But as much as we want to have that, and the receiver step up, Bryce Young back there at 100%, throwing shoulder, I think this Alabama defense in this game against LSU, it's got to set the tone. Defense must set the tone, because you're going up against an LSU team that is very much so improved. despite the early regular season loss to Florida State, Brian Kelly's got these guys playing a lot better. Jayden Daniels, one of the more productive quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference, can run it well, can throw it well. LSU's got some backs that can run the football. Kayshon Boutte is an explosive wide receiver. We've seen all season where Bama has had some issues corralling explosive wide receivers, whether it was Xavier Worthy of Texas, Evan Stewart, Texas A&M, or the likes of Jalen Hyatt of Tennessee. Here is Kayshon Boutte. So this Alabama defense with Pete Golding got to come out the gate with that intensity. Got to come out the gate swinging. Got to come out the gate fired up. Got to come out of a tunnel ready to play some big-time smash-mouth, in-your-face football against LSU in a game that will decide the SEC West. And for me, Eli, two players have to set that tone from the word go. Two. You want all of them to do it, but I think two of them have to take on the mantle of setting that stage quickly. Those two, Will Anderson and Eli Ricks. Those are my two that's got to do it. Will Anderson and Eli Ricks. And starting off with Will Anderson, he's got to be all over Jayden Daniels in this football game. He's got to be all over Daniels. He's got to be all over the running back. Will Anderson has to be all over the field in this matchup. And the reason why I say this is, I know people talk about last year, he started to really sort of take off as the menace against Mississippi State, which he did. But you go back and you watch last year's game against LSU at Bryant-Denny. The final score was 20-14. I think Will had 3.5 to 4 sacks in that game too. I think he did. Yes, Phil Mathis had a big day against the Tigers, but Will Anderson flat out destroyed Max Johnson in that game. Johnson couldn't do a thing. I mean, even if he wanted to, he couldn't, because 31 stayed in his grill all game long. So here's Will Anderson, big opportunity, setting that tone as a defensive leader on the road, taking the crowd out of it, not having that anxiety on the road. Here it is for Will Anderson against LSU. He's got to set that physical, nasty, I'm bout it tone on the road there in Death Valley. And then Eli Ricks, you know, this is his moment. This is Eli Ricks' moment. He goes back to the Bayou, where it all started for him. Came to LSU as a 5-star in that 2020 class. Was a freshman All-American that year. 4 interceptions. Had 1 or 2 of those returned for touchdowns. He played 2 seasons at LSU. Now, his mindset is, I get to go back home to former team and shut down, silence every fan inside that stadium. Now, Coach Saban said today, Eli Ricks does not need a superhuman effort. He's not requiring that from him. He doesn't need Eli Ricks to play over what he is. But go out there, play with fun, play with fire, play with confidence, play with high energy. Duplicate what you did against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. If you can go a bit higher than that, hey, go a bit higher than that. But don't need to overexert yourself, as Saban was saying today, in terms of Eli Ricks. But knowing that young man and the mindset that he has, he's going to want to enter this game against LSU and trying to shut down Kayshon Boutte. I think that's the mentality of Eli Ricks. I mean, against Mississippi State, forced 5 incompletions, including 4 pass breakups, brother balled out. And when he's out there on the field, it seems like the Alabama secondary knows what it is and who it is with number 7, Ricks, on the field. But those are the 2 guys that I feel like you've got to set that tone defensively coming out the tunnel against LSU at night. Will Anderson, and Eli Ricks. Yes, you want the offense to do their thing too. Absolutely. You want Bryce Young 100%, which he will be. You want these wide receivers stepping up. Bingo. You want Bill O'Brien to take the advice of Nick Saban finally and have some diversity, some creativity in this run game. Yeah. But along with that, the Alabama defense on the road, quieting an opposing fan base. I think you want that just a wee bit more. We'll see how this shakes out. But we take our first break here on the show, folks. Don't touch that dial. Just getting your chest warm on a Monday. When we get back, we go to you. Your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. Light us up. Ring those phones. We'll be back after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break. Hottest show on the streets here, giving you your Crimson Tide football news in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Appreciate you guys checking us out on today. And remember, hit that like button. Run those likes up. Give a like on the show. Hit that thumbs up. Make this your show, your place to talk Bama. We're trying to get this thing up to 50 likes right now. Need your support. Also, that daily super chat goal, $75. All donations welcome and appreciate it. How about my man Bill from New York with that $5 donation, showing love right there. No, Dancing Stephen appreciates that. How about Godfather of the SEC, a.k.a. my man Wayne and the President, with that $4.99 in the super chats. Appreciate Bill from New York and weighing and showing love right here. We go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Michael from Columbus, South Carolina. How you doing?
Doing good, Michael, and yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Steven?
I'm doing good, man. You know, it's Coach Saban's birthday. He is 71 years young today, but definitely preparing for this matchup against one LSU.
I tell you, Steven, this is a game that I can't wait to watch because I've always enjoyed watching good old Bama and LSU take on each other. It's going to be a really good game. I know everybody kind of got their eyes on the Tennessee-Georgia game next week. I'm sorry, not next week, but this Saturday. But the Alabama LSU game, I mean, Alabama has to get through this game. They have to, Stephen. I mean, we cannot afford another loss. And I think this LSU game, again, we're going to show what we can do. I mean, Eli Ricks, got to put him at that starting cornerback position. I mean, that's just how it's got to be. Whether you're putting him alongside with Kool-Aid or Terry Arnold, I mean, he's playing Eli Ricks playing his former team. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stress on him for that. But I mean, to me, you put Eli Ricks in the game. After seeing what he did against Mississippi State, he's got to start. But to me, more important, Steve, we got to get Jaheim Otis and DJ Dale. Now, that's really one of the questions. I had a couple questions to ask you, but to me, that's one of the questions. Is DJ Dale and Jaheim Otis going to start for this game against LSU?
Well, Michael, Coach Saban mentioned both of those two today, and they both practiced today. They looked pretty good out there in practice. They will practice all week, and just based on how they feel, they'll be able to go against LSU. Now, of course, Saban did not disclose any of the injuries that those two may have had, did not talk about it. Of course, we saw both of them in street clothes, did not play against Mississippi State 2 weeks ago, but they both practiced today. They both look pretty smooth out there, so it depends on how they go throughout the week and how do they feel going into Saturday.
And two more questions, Steve. Before I get to my second question, do you have kind of any score predictions on the Georgia-Tennessee game Saturday?
Oh, man. I mean, right now, I do not, Michael. I do not. I will probably have one by Wednesday, but right now it's tough because Georgia's defense, yes, Kirby Smart's got a group right there, but Tennessee's offense with Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, and what Josh Heupel dials up, I mean, it's crazy. So I don't have a prediction right now, but by Wednesday I'll have one.
Okay. And then lastly, with these receivers, and I said it again, it was really good to see Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice and JoJo Earl and Jermaine Burton and Trayshawn Holden and Corey Brooks, those guys, finally stepping up against Mississippi State. We want to see more of that, in this game at LSU because their secondary, I mean, they got some guys in the secondary, that could be very, very tough to play against. I mean, you got Mekhi Gardner in there, you got Jay Ward in there, you got Greg Brooks, transfer from Oklahoma in there. So you got a couple guys in there that definitely on defense. You want to, as a receiver, want to play well. But to me, Steven, how do you feel about, or as I should say, who do you believe will start the right receivers? Do you expect to kind of stay with Prentice and Bond and Brooks, or do you expect them to maybe put Trayshawn Holden and Burton back at the starting two, and then play Prentice, Bond, and Brooks in that? How do you see that going?
I think Alabama will look at more so Bond, Prentice, and Brooks. And then you'll see JoJo Earl worked out there too. You'll still have plays where Jermaine Burton will get out there, Trayshawn Holden will get out there. But I think the ones who have been the most consistent, because Saban talks consistency, Bond's been consistent, Prentice has been consistent. We have seen Ja'Cory Brooks flash. He's had moments also where he's been good. JoJo Earl is starting to get even more comfortable after him having a touchdown reception there in the Tennessee game where a few weeks back there. So I think you'll go with those guys. He'll try to roll out Burton some more. He'll try to roll out Holden some more. But Bond, Prentice, Earl, and Brooks, those four have been the most consistent as of now. But appreciate my man Michael from South Carolina calling in, giving us his thoughts here on the show. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Stephen, Bill from New York. How you feeling tonight?
Doing good, man. We got Bama LSU on Saturday, Bill. And, normally this is the game that everybody gets excited for. I know the last 2 years LSU hasn't been all of that. But, 6-2, SEC West on the line this week. This is the Alabama LSU we're used to seeing a little bit.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, what I want to talk about first, I want to praise Lane Kiffin because I love the pot shot he took at Jimbo. Did you hear that one?
I heard that. You know what, Bill? I'll say this. Lane Kiffin can walk on the wild side. Lane Kiffin can be as controversial as he wants to, but as wild as Kiffin is, even Kiffin knows, don't go after Coach Saban.
That's so true. That is so true. You know. Now, I'll tell you, talking about like with this season, I feel like as an Alabama fan, I feel like more of an outcast than I ever had. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody's always rooting against us, but now we lost that game. We had a couple of close ones. Oh, they think they're dancing in our graves, don't they? Well, that's okay because we know it's not over, and we have each other here. You know what I mean? It's like we're Alabama fans, and we're going with it. Now, as far as what you said about taking over the game, I want to throw in Brian Branch. Once again, a guy, he just keeps getting better before our eyes. I think that's what I like the most about college football, watching a kid like him just improve and get better week to week. It's great, you know. And what I want to see on offense, and you mentioned that too, is the freshmen. I want to see like the freshman receivers. I don't care who, but we need them to step up, especially, you know, for a little more speed. And, you know, at running back, I just want to see Jamarian. I'm telling you, I think that kid can gain yards. He's tough. He's a great one-cut runner. I want to see more of him. Now, let me get to the score. You know, I wish Naomi was in the chat room. She's great. I'm going to use our expression one more time. Listen, we're going to dog walk LSU. There's not going to be much of a game. We're going to dog walk them, just like Naomi says. And Kelly, you know, with his great coach. Oh, he's so great. Let me tell you, the guy's crazy. You hear him with his southern accent. Hey, y'all, we got to. What's he talking about? I'm more southern than that guy. Is he kidding me? Well, what we're going to do is it's going to be 41-13. And I'm saying that 7 of those 13 points are going to be in garbage time. We're going to run them off the field. So what do you think, brother?
41-13, Bill. Hey, love it, man. Love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what's happening. You know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm ready for these fools. I ain't worried about it.
My man Bill from New York calling in right there. He's got 41-13. You can put that one down, Eli. 41-13 in favor of Bill from New York. They're talking Crimson Tide over LSU. Brian Branch has really got better blitzing the quarterback and hitting home. And I want to see Alabama this week time him up on those blitzes where he can get home to Jayden Daniels and timing those up at the right moments because Branch does have the speed coming off the slot corner spot at nickel where he can get home. So I definitely want to see those blitzes timed up. We'll take this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, how's everything going in Birmingham tonight? You cool? Halloween night, you ready?
I'm in Wayland. I'm good, man. It's Monday. I'm pumped up. Had a great bye week, and now you play LSU at night at Tiger Stadium. I'm going down there. I'm ready.
Auburn is a dumpster fire. Oh, Lord. Texas A&M is a dumpster fire. LSU will fall to the mighty Crimson Tide Saturday night like they always do in Baton Rouge. Just be ready to run out of the stadium if you have to. But, you know, I'm going to make my prediction tonight. I done made my prediction on Alabama. I'm not going to do a score. But after I saw what Tennessee done to Kentucky, man, they jap slapped them, boy. I tell you what. Hooker knocked the dust off them heels. I'm telling you what. Georgia will fall Saturday to Tennessee. That's the way it is. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to see it. But it's going to happen. And that's the way it is. But I love all y'all in the chat. Y'all looking good. Y'all have a happy Halloween tonight. Don't eat too much candy. You get a stomach ache. I love all y'all. I'll be back on Wednesday maybe. Bye-bye, everyone.
Appreciate Waylon there. Calling into the show. He's got Tennessee over Georgia. Tennessee over the Dogs there. That's Waylon's prediction. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Jim Gallagher out of Dallas, Texas. How are you?
Doing great, Jim, and yourself, my man.
Well, doing a little better. I've had little problems under the weather for the last 6 months or so, but I'm getting a little bit better, I think. And I want to get up for LSU week of any week out of the season. It's always a good game, and we can always expect LSU to play their best. I don't think they have the type of offense that's going to give us a lot of trouble. I don't think they have a passing game anything close to what Tennessee has or some of the other teams have. And that's what it's going to take to beat us. Somebody's just going to have to outscore us. That's the way I see it anyway. I think we'll beat LSU. I do think it'll be a little bit closer game than most people are saying. I think it'll be somewhere in the neighborhood of 28-14, 28-13, something like that. I think it'll be a good, hard-fought game, sort of like Mississippi State, similar situation to Mississippi State. But there's something I've been thinking about, and I don't know if you've ever thought about it or not, but last year, if I'm not mistaken, A&M beat us on the last play of the game. And this year, Tennessee beat us on the last play of the game. And then a couple of weeks ago, Mississippi State, we couldn't keep them out of the end zone on the last play of the game. Now, Stephen, I just don't see Alabama teams 5 or 6 years ago allowing somebody to beat them on the last play of the game. And I don't know, there's something about these kids. I think they have the ability. I know that they're young, especially the receivers. But there's something about them. They just don't have the fortitude or the desire to get down there and get dirty and play good old-fashioned football, hardball. I think they got used to relying on Bryce to win the games for them, and nobody else is stepping up. Maybe Gibbs. There was one good thing that came out of that Mississippi State game, and that was they finally, wherever they'd been hiding Eli Ricks, they finally found him and put him out on the field. And that kid's going to add a lot of physicality to that secondary, and believe me, they've been needing that. But anyway, it looks like we're going to have another week of Jahmyr Gibbs running the ball and Bryce throwing it to a bunch of young receivers, and that'll pull us out. I think we'll win out now till the end of the year. But one other thing I want to mention, everybody's saying how great Tennessee is. Well, they beat us on the last play of the game in Knoxville. So that makes us pretty good, doesn't it? But people writing us off like we're no good and Tennessee's the best team in the United States. And that doesn't make any sense. If they beat you on the last play of the game, it wasn't like they drubbed us. But anyway, I'm going to stick with that, something like 28-13, 28-14, something like that. I think it'll be a pretty good ball game. So that's my thoughts anyway. And I'll talk to you probably next week too.
Appreciate my man Jim there calling in from Dallas, Texas. He's got 28-14 in favor of Bama over LSU. Eli, you can write that down there. Jim, 28-14. We're taking this call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from?
Ooh, I'd be kind of, it's Robert from Mobile. I'd be kind of disappointed if I was scored with 28.
Robert, I would kind of be a little bit too special. You got a healthy Bryce Young. You could only get 28. That's, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking, 38 or 42 to 14. Now, that's more like it. Tennessee put up 40 on them. I agree with your last caller, though. A lot of people are having Alabama an upset alert for this game. And they treat Tennessee like, they're the golden child of the next LSU. From 2019 LSU. Like you said, hey, you were in Knoxville and you barely won by 3 points. In fact, if you don't win, if Will Riker didn't have it was in a little bit of a slump then, or if the guy to try to pick up the ball when it's dead and then for some reason he wants to touch it. Yeah, we did a lot to help you win that game, and you still barely won it in your home stadium. Oh, I would savor a rematch with Tennessee. I'd bet $1,000 we win that against Tennessee. And so, but a lot of people, you said your previous caller said they're writing Alabama off. I mean, I'm jealous of an upset alert against LSU. McElroy has on there, and like Feinbaum and a few others. And it's like, okay, that was not ground up garbage, from this year. So this Guckis is good, reverse rat poison, motivate the team to do a better job down the stretch. But yeah, this LSU game, for one, it went from a afterthought at the beginning of the season that, Alabama should be able to beat them, but LSU shouldn't be all that. And after the Florida State game LSU played, it seemed like this game would be meaningless at this point of the season. Now all of a sudden it's turned into the most important game in the Alabama season right now. This game and others are the season. You lose this game, the season's over. And we will have failed to let the best quarterback in the history of Alabama football start a game in to win a championship. And that would be just an absolute travesty if we don't let Bryce Young start a game for the championship and win it. So I think they're going to rally around. I think the defense will show up in LSU, and I think the offense will show up, and I think they'll be ready to pick it and get it in gear for the rest of the season. Now, come off the bye week, we find out a few things. We finally know that Eli Ricks needs to be in the game. I hate it cost us a game to realize that, but all right, we're here now. And if Ricks can take that show on the road that he did against Mississippi State, I think we'll be shutting a lot of teams down. Take out their top receivers by putting him on an island against their top receiver, and then allow Mr. Anderson and company to finally be able to work. Yeah, this season is far from over for all these people count Alabama and Alabama out. But yeah, the whole thing goes. We'll show you. We've been here before, back in 2015, when they lost to Ole Miss. People were counting them out there in that time too, and they rallied. Even with Jay Coker as quarterback, but we rallied and pull it out and the rest of the season out. So I'm looking for us to do that the rest of the season here too. Like I believe we'll drub LSU, and for all those doubters out there that think we're gonna be on upset, or some will pick Alabama to lose. But yeah, it's a bit many game. It's turned out to be a must-win for the SEC West. Didn't expect that to be an game between Alabama and LSU to be for the West. Although Ole Miss is still technically in it, but I think LSU is a bigger threat than they are. And we'll see what happens. I expect us to win it and win it big. So, yeah, I expect a lot more than 28. But all due respect to your last call, I'm looking for more than 28. It'll be kind of a disappointment. All right, man.
Appreciate Robert from Mobile calling in right there to the show. And, folks, like it was mentioned, we've seen this a lot with Alabama under Nick Saban. It loses one game, and the national prognosticators, the sky is falling. There's no way Crimson Tide can bounce back and run the table. 2011, Bama lost to LSU in the regular season, still ran the table. 2012, Alabama lost to Johnny Heisman football Manziel and Texas A&M. Bama still ran the table for the national championship. 2015, Robert from Mobile just mentioned it. Bama lost to Ole Miss, regular season, ended up winning the national championship. 2017, Alabama lost to Auburn, regular season, and the Iron Bowl didn't even matter. Crimson Tide still got back in the college football playoff, winning a national championship. Y'all shout out Eric Beasley with that $10 donation, dropping the love there in the hat there. Dancing Steven, Khaki Pants, he in business. He already know what it is. And then we got my man Jimmy Clay again, 1501 in the Super Chats. Appreciate the love there from Eric Beasley and Jimmy Clay. Call topic here, happy 71st birthday to Nick Saban. 6-time national champion at Alabama, 7-time national champion overall. He got the birthday love from his daughter this morning. Kristen Saban sent us on Instagram. Happy birthday to the greatest everything. Talking about her dad, Alabama head coach Nick Saban. The players today did their annual tradition, singing happy birthday to Coach Saban with kazoos and whistles and cake. Is Nick Saban a red velvet guy? Birthday cake guy? Maybe. Is he a buttercream icing cake? I don't know. I don't know. I just want to know who did the singing. Who was the main singer for the birthday in terms of players? Because Daniel Wright held that title for a long time. We all know Daniel Wright gone. So who was the main person, singing happy birthday to Coach Saban? I'm going to find that out. That's the news. That's the news that the people want to hear. Who's the main person doing that? But Saban 71, don't look like it. I know, Eli, you were having a conversation with me earlier. You were like, man, Nick looks like he's 50. Just turned 60. He look like he's 71. Yes, Eli, I agree with you. He does not look like he is 71 years old. But happy birthday to one Coach Saban as he prepares LSU on Saturday. We're going to take a break right now, folks. When we get back, you'll hear the man, the legend, the myth himself, Justin Smith of TDA, breaking down with Brian Harsin fired from Auburn. How does this change the Iron Bowl recruiting landscape? We'll get with Justin after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, people, we're back in rolling to the action from the break on a Monday. Getting that work week and Alabama LSU week kicked off for you correctly on the hottest show on the streets, talking Bama. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of TDA. Appreciate you, the Bama Nation, hitting that daily super chat goal of $75. All donations welcome and appreciated by you, the fans. Also, continue hitting that like button. Give us that thumbs up on the show. At 50 likes right now, let's go to 75, baby. Continue hitting that like button, making this your place to talk Crimson Tide football. But right now, we go to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up somebody that does not sleep whatsoever. Breathes Alabama football recruiting. He's out there scouting athletes, analyzing tape, breaking down film, putting together recruiting valuations. The guy is doing everything for Crimson Tide recruiting other than selling hot dogs and beer, y'all. If y'all want the best of recruiting news, you got to find Justin Smith because he's out there doing it like none other out there on the trail. So, Justin, man, how you feeling right now? Welcome in here.
Yeah, I'm feeling good, Steven. Always good to be on here with you, talking recruiting and everything.
Absolutely. Alabama football recruiting. We got Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA right here. So, Justin, the big news of the day comes from the plains of Auburn, and that is the Tigers giving the axe, the boot, to Brian Harsin, no longer the head coach there for the Auburn Tigers. And where recruiting is concerned, and more importantly, the Iron Bowl landscape of recruiting, with Harsin out, how does this affect Alabama? How do you see this being a benefit for Alabama, especially here when it comes to the Iron Bowl battles in recruiting?
Specifically, I think it is a positive. It has to be a positive for Alabama in this 2023 recruiting class. In particular, the battle for James Smith and Quay Russo. Auburn was heavily involved in it just based on the relationship that their coaches have had with the duo. And with that program in question right now, I think that definitely helps Alabama's sense. Alabama is already in the mix, heavily in the mix, one of the top schools, obviously. But I definitely think that this puts them in a little bit of a better position than Auburn for sure at this point in time in their recruitment. So in terms of the 2023 recruiting class, that is the battle everybody's going to be watching. I've said that I thought that was going to be an Iron Bowl recruiting battle in the past, but with Auburn, the situation that they are in now, it could actually be in Alabama-Florida battle instead now, just based on the official visit that those guys took. Rousseau spoke highly of the Gators after that official visit. The Gators are hot on the recruiting trail. Recently picked up a commitment for Kamani McLean. I definitely think that James Field and Quay Rousseau are going to get him a good look, but I think Todd is still in a really, really strong position. So I think Auburn, I think that in terms of 2023 recruiting cycle, that impacts Alabama's push for both of those guys, and I think Alabama can benefit in that particular portion. But on the other side, I think just looking at the state of Alabama, it's going to be loaded with recruits for the next couple of recruiting classes. 2023 class is loaded. And unfortunately, Auburn hasn't done a good job of taking advantage of that. So if they get some new blood in there, a new coach, things could start to swing in their direction for them to have a better outlook for the 2024 recruiting class, especially if they can get a guy in there to recruit to the Crimson Tide. May got to battle it out for a couple more in-state guys if Auburn can bring a guy in who puts their program in a better position in the future.
So aside, Justin, from James Smith and Quay Rousseau here, when you look at the 2023 class, who are some of the other in-state targets that it was coming down to an Iron Bowl situation? Who are some of those other targets that we're heavily looking at both Auburn and Alabama, especially now with Harsin out of Auburn?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why Harsin is in the position he's in now. Auburn has not done a really good job recruiting inside the state. Like I said, the state is loaded. Just look at some of the top recruits in the state who are committed to. Tony Mitchell, Jahir Lil Hurley's committed to Alabama. A.J. Harris committed to Georgia. Peter Woods committed to Clemson. Cubby Collins committed to Florida. So Auburn has not done a great job in terms of taking advantage of how loaded the state is. So James Swift and Quay Rousseau are the guys that they were in the mix for. And surprisingly, it has to go back to a relationship that they were actually in the mix for those guys.
Absolutely. We got Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, right here on the phone line if you're just checking out the show on a Monday. So, Justin, here, when you look at Rousseau and James Smith here, with Auburn out of the equation, and it's come down to, like you mentioned, Florida and Alabama, I mean, what, in your opinion, would just put Bama sort of over the top of Florida? Because even with the Gators losing to Georgia on last week, it seems like Billy Napier has been doing a solid job, a strong job on the recruiting trail, building relationships, he and his staff. But what would it take for Nick Saban and whomever the primary recruiter is for Rousseau and James Smith on the Alabama staff? What would it take for the Tide to get that final push to land both of these two?
I think they have to show how much they really want them over the next couple of weeks. I think they have that opportunity. And when they get an opportunity to hit the road before signing day, because these guys are going to announce their commitment, their decision on National Signing Day. So you're going to get an opportunity to hit the road, go to their house, and see them, and also get an opportunity that you may be the last team to host them for an official visit in December before they make their final decision. So Alabama's in a really good position. Good relationship with Charles Kelly, Nick Saban, Freddie Roach, Pete Golding, some of the guys involved. So I think the biggest thing is just showing them that you really want them in Tuscaloosa, that they can possibly come in and make an immediate impact. To take a look at both of these guys, they're really high on Alabama when you talk to both of them, and they express their feelings about the Crimson Tide. So I think the biggest thing right now Alabama's coach staff has to do is close the deal on these guys. Continue to push for the next couple of weeks. Signing day is in December. It is October 31st right now, so we're actually like a month and 20 so days away from National Signing Day. So it's on Alabama to make that push to close out the deal.
National Signing Day getting closer and closer. Our guy Justin Smith, this is where he is at, tip-top perfection when it comes down to signing day in the recruiting landscape of college football. He is Justin Smith, our lead scout and recruiting analyst for TDA, breaking down the whole Iron Bowl ties in recruiting with the Tigers, parting ways from Brian Harsin over there at Auburn. What could we see? What could we gain here moving forward? Justin, as always, man, we appreciate you, and take care of yourself, man.
As always, do the same to you.
Absolutely. James Smith, Quay Rousseau, they're right there They're both right there with Auburn out of it for both of them. I mean, if Alabama can snatch these two, I've said this before, Eli. When an Alabama native gets a Crimson Tide offer, that's a big deal. Because all they know is Alabama football. That's how they grew up. Talking with daddy and granddaddy in the barbershop. Talk with uncle in the barbershop or in the store. That's all they grew up was Bama. I mean, that's all they know. And people have been talking about, will Stephen, when can Alabama get back to getting those guys where they physical, they're dominant, they're elite, it means something to them? It starts with Coach Saban at Alabama getting back to those in-state kids that all they knew since when the doctor put them in their mama hands. It's a boy. Get back to them kids that came from this state that all they know is I bleed crimson and white, and it's all I care about. Once you get back to recruiting those guys right there, and they got that mentality about themselves, then you will see what you want to see in terms of this program. We take a break right here, folks. We'll touch that down when we get back. We'll return to your phone calls right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We back in here, folks, to the action from the break on the hottest show on the streets, covering your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of TDA. Remember, hit that like button, give us that thumbs up, like the show. Appreciate all the support coming from you, the Crimson Tide football faithful. We're trying to get this now 75 likes right here. 75 likes on the show. Thanks to you guys. Also continue. Donations appreciated. Donations welcomed from all of you. Thank you guys for making this your place to talk your Alabama Crimson Tide. Right now, though, we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Man, what's up, man? Uncle Charles, man. What's happening, man?
Uncle Charles is in the building, baby, on a Monday. What's up, man?
Man, let me tell you, man, they're chilling out with my grandbaby, man, having a good time, man. Well, let me just say this, man. I get tired of people throwing Alabama under the bus. The media don't turn on them. It's so sad. You have to understand what Coach Saban have did, not just for college sports, but for the universities around the country. He don't directed young men into the pros, even into business. He's making a change, and that's why he's the best at what he do. But then Auburn want to make a statement about us. Let me tell you something, Auburn. See how you let your coach go today? Now, I don't believe in folks getting fired because people need their job. But that man ain't crying. I can tell you that. Not that he didn't cut that check. He ain't crying. Auburn crying, but he ain't. Let me tell you something, Auburn. While y'all on that messing with us, y'all will be at home and we'll be in a New Year's Six Bowl. Y'all, and that little tiger y'all be riding on the back of your car, it'll be hung on the door for about 6 months and then it got dirty and next thing you know, it's in the garbage. So don't talk about us, Auburn. And then he up there talking about coaches and stuff. Well, Nick Saban came to Alabama, and what did he want? Full control over recruiting, full control over the Alabama sports room, everything, and step up out the way, boosters. And they did that, and he brought us 6 national championships. 6 national championships. That's what he brought us. Now I'm gonna tell you something, Auburn. You get up off our back, and all these coaches you mentioned. You want to get Lane Kiffin? Man, you crazy. Lane Kiffin be throwing them back. He be down on Daytona Beach throwing them back down there. Lane Kiffin, he might well go to Auburn and take classes. You don't want no Lane Kiffin. Then they said they want Matt Rule. Man, Matt Rule like some drunk uncle in the backyard playing with his nieces and nephews. And he taking the game serious. No, you don't need Matt Rule. You need one man, and that's Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders will bring pride. He will bring glory to Auburn. He will teach young men to be young men and not just represent their family, but the Auburn family. But you don't want that. It ain't the young people, it's the old guard. See, the old guard wants that. Moving on down the line and half a mile or so. And that's what they want. But those young Auburn students down there, they want that. Doom, doom, doom. Doom, doom, doom. That's what they want. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here, up in here. That's what they want. You heard how Deion Sanders? You got to get out the way, old God, because things don't change. No matter how much you tell yourself a lie, the truth stands alone. And this is why Alabama on top and they'll stay on top, because they changed their way. And until Auburn do that, you will be in the doghouse and you ain't gonna never get out. But I can tell you this, Auburn. You can go get you some drinks and cook some barbecue and watch us in the New Year's Six Bowl and enjoy it. Because we'll be the only team in Alabama representing Alabama. And I know you hate it, but you can't do nothing about it. Why? Because you over there and I'm over here. And that's all I got to say. And I appreciate my Alabama family. I love y'all, man.
Appreciate Uncle Charles calling into the show right there. You cannot start in my own words without a call from Uncle Charles. It just doesn't happen. And Eli is already working on a breaking down the best Uncle Charles calls. I think we need to have a segment, the best Uncle Charles calls, and just have that as a snippet there. Because it's awesome. It's just fantastic. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Feeling great. This is Trent from Prattville, Alabama. How you doing, Stephen?
Trent, doing well, my man. You got it, Bama LSU this weekend, a game that, normally decides the SEC West, normally decides who plays for a national championship. I'm excited about this one.
Oh, I'm excited about this one, too. I mean, when was the last year that the media is just totally dogging us? They're just totally counting us out. Did you happen to watch the SEC football final with Dari Noka? And Dari Noka didn't even have us projected in the top 6 in the college football rankings.
I mean, yeah.
Chris Doran, he got mad at Takeo Spikes because Takeo Spikes put Alabama in the top 4. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. They hate us. I mean, they don't want us in the top 4. They don't want us in the top 6. I mean, it hurts me.
I mean, people, Trent, just do not like greatness at all. People do not like it when a team can show as much consistency and a coach can show as much consistency, positive-wise, the way that Alabama and Nick Saban has done this. But I will say this. I mean, in years past, people in the media have written Alabama off. I just go back to 2015 because I always go back to this. When Alabama lost to Ole Miss and Dan Woken of USA Today, I don't know what possessed Dan to do this. Dan Woken wrote a full-page article, called The Dynasty's Over, and it made the front page news of USA Today. And Nick Saban brought that newspaper to the press conference. I was there. Brought that newspaper right there and said, y'all thought we were 6 feet buried and gone. Just put it out there. And Saban took that motivation and rode that puppy all the way to the national championship and won that. So we have seen the national talking heads go, you know what, let's put all the money against Alabama. And here's Nick Saban, okay, you do what you want to. I'm going to have the last laugh. And more times than not, he's had the last laugh.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And something I'd like to see this weekend, I'd like to see Tyler Harrell get into starting rotation and send him on some go routes. I don't see what that would hurt. What do you think, Stephen?
I think Trent, that needs to happen. I know people have been saying, we've been saying Tyler Harrell. Well, he got out there against Mississippi State. So clearly he's healthy. Clearly he's real. And clearly he's healthy. So with those two things, checking out those boxes, it's time to use him on some go routes, on some fade patterns, on some deep ball action downfield. You got to use this young man. He's got speed. Put him out here. Clearly he's ready to go.
And how is DJ Dale doing? What's his status for this upcoming game?
Well, Dale and Jaheim Otis Trent are both day-to-day, according to Coach Saban. They both practiced today. They both looked good on the field, moving, cutting, bending around. So that's a positive. If they can continue to make that push, I think at least one, if not both, at least one should be out there Saturday. But both practice, both look good today.
That's great. Well, I hope we make a big statement this weekend. Roll Tide, Stephen. Thank you.
Absolutely. Trent there from Prattville calling into the show here on a Monday. Both looked good. Dale and Jaheim Otis. Now, I don't know what the injury was that had them not play against Mississippi State. Coach Saban didn't talk about it. He just said, hey, they're day-to-day. That's all the information that we got out of Coach Saban. But it was good to see both of those two in practice today. They moved. They showed the agility, some cutting ability, footwork. Looked pretty good out there. So we will see how they continue to progress. But we grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? It's Tobias, man. How you doing?
Man, my brother, I cannot complain, man. It's Bama LSU on Saturday. I'll be making my way down to the bayou.
All right, that's what's up, man. That is what's up. We need you on the sidelines and all of that good stuff, man. And make sure you ask those great questions like you normally do. I know Coach always likes your questions because you normally ask like a football question, and he always likes that, man. So that's awesome, man. I'm excited about this. I understand. Isn't it going to be an evening game?
It is 6 p.m. kickoff.
Oh, that's a night game. Okay, so that's what's up. I'll say this, man. We got into this 14 playoff because of Alabama, right?
Right.
And because of these two teams playing, going back and forth that year, and Uncle Charles is the best, man. You definitely got to do a show with just the best of Uncle Charles, and I kind of agree with Trent about the media, but I would say that I'm also excited. I hope more media is kind of. I don't want to be fully down on Bama, but it seems like this group of kids struggle with just internal motivation, and sometimes external stuff can help, keep a team in place to realize, because the truth is, Steve, if we lose another game, we're out the playoffs. That's the reality of it. And so they need to not play with that on their mind, because then you start making mistakes, you start acting jittery. Saban said the last, at Tennessee, at least, they weren't even chanting coming down the tunnel. So hopefully the boys can get it together. It was nice to kind of watch some football this weekend without watching us. And, I have to say, this is just the eye test. I've heard you saying it a few times. Georgia does look good, man. They look the part. At no time this weekend was that game ever in jeopardy. And what was most impressive was the offensive line. They just lean on you, man. And so I'm really, as excited as I am to see Bama and LSU, I'm real excited in the morning to see Tennessee and Georgia. And I know that you and others have been pushing this 12-team playoff, but Steve, this is making the point, and I think it'll be okay. But think about it. Georgia's number one right now. Now tomorrow the playoff rankings come out, but just follow me with this, and I promise I'll drop some money in the chat. Georgia's number one, Ohio's number two, Tennessee's number three. Why do we need a playoff when Tennessee is about to play Georgia this week? And we're going to find out who's who. Michigan is number four. They're going to play Ohio before the rest of the season, end of the season. Clemson is sitting out there. They got to go to Notre Dame. Then you got us, who we hope and go undefeated the rest of the way. TCU is sitting out there with some comeback wins. They're 8-0. You know, should they potentially get in if they can run the table? Maybe. Oregon is better than they were, but does anyone think a Bo Nix-led team is going to beat Alabama, going to beat Ohio State, going to beat Georgia? SC is sitting out there, but they're going to fumble one more time before the end. They'll probably lose again in the Pac-12 championship. UCLA just lost. Mississippi just lost. Utah has a couple of losses. That would be your top 12 teams, bro, right now. So I guess my point is all the great teams are going to play each other and work themselves out. I could almost see 6 teams, but 12, we're going to just get more of the same and repeats and all of that. Anyway, let me just say this, and I'll let you go. If Harrell is what we think he is, based on the limited footage from Louisville, I hope he makes it on the field. Because now with Eli Ricks on the field, who looked incredible, now that he's healthy, now we know he wasn't healthy. If he's on the field and Harrell's on the field, and we can get our timing right, I can't see us losing to LSU or Ole Miss. And definitely now that Auburn has done Auburn things, you know, they can't get out of their own way. So that'll put us in there. If Tennessee wins this weekend, bro, I don't know. They're looking like that 2019 LSU team, in my opinion. So we're the only one that has been even remotely close. So we'll see how that works, because we should have won that game. With that said, I'll drop some money in the chat. Thanks for taking the call. Roll Tide.
Appreciate my man Tobias from Fresno calling into the show on a Monday. He did in my own words. We're going to take this one right here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Oh, hey, yeah, this is Ray in Colorado.
What's going on, Ray?
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just, you know, first thing, let's get this out the way. I hate Tennessee. Tennessee, every week is Tennessee hate week.
I mean, Ray, you along with a lot of the members of the Alabama football family.
Bama wins their championships in January. Tennessee wins their championships in October. I mean, what a bunch of losers. Hey, I love your show. I like how you bring on ex-players. That's amazing how you got that going. And I was wondering, why doesn't Bama Insider do that? The other Bama channel. Why don't they ever bring on ex-players?
I have no idea, man. I mean, we hear it, TDA. We just give the people what they want. The people want information. The people want entertainment. They want fun. They want former players to come and speak. We just figure out what the fans want and try our best to implement it.
I heard one of your callers, and they were talking about linebackers and stuff, and setting tone and energy, and just the type of attitude you need to have to come in the game. And I mean, you know, Lawson, Toa, you know, I think Moody should be out there, because Moody Moody has been there, I think, 4 years. Is that correct? 4 years?
Well, this is his 5th season, so 5 years now.
5th. Okay. So his freshman year, who was it? Reuben Foster and Wilson, or
his freshman year? It was Mac Wilson and Dylan Moses.
Mac Wilson. Okay, Mac Wilson and Dylan Moses. All right, now. Even in I think people were talking bad about our linebacker play even back then. I think it was more Dylan Moses than Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson was kind of like he was kind of like one of those guys that was close to like a Reuben Foster. But it's our linebacker play, man. It's our linebacker play. I don't know what game it was, but I remember there was a play with Reuben Foster where the whole offensive line shifted. And they made a wall. The old linemen were running to the right, and Reuben Foster just turned his body into a torpedo and blew the whole play up. You saw people's legs in the air. I mean, he stopped the play behind the line. I mean, really before anyone else on the defense could get there. We don't have that. Even Dylan Moses balled out in that game against LSU. I think we beat them 29-0 if you remember that. Even Dylan Moses balled out in that game. In Wilson, I think Wilson's still in the NFL. So, yeah, we just don't have that linebacker play, man. And if we don't get anyone, at least we got nothing like a Reuben Foster, Reggie Ragland. When that year when those two guys tag teamed, when those were the two linebackers, we had those two. I think we won a championship that year. But if we don't get some attitude and we can't scare people to throw the ball across the middle and be in the backfield, Rashad Evans, I think it was against Florida. They're on the 1 yard line, and Rashad Evans somehow teleported. I mean, he stopped the play in the backfield. I don't know what game that was. But just stuff like that, man, we don't have that. We can't win without that. We're putting too much pressure on our offense because we're not doing enough on defense. So until we get something like that.
I think, Ray, the big thing with that, Ray, is you go back and you look at those guys, the Reggie Raglands, the Reuben Fosters, the Rashawn Evans, all three of those young men, Alabama natives for the most part, in-state guys. They grew up Bama, tried and true Bama, die in the wool Bama. They grew up with daddy and grandpapa in the barbershop betting money. You rolling with Bama? They grew up with Papa and Grandpapa and Uncle fishing. What about that Bama? They grew up in the culture. They knew it before they stepped foot on campus. They knew what the culture was because they came from this state. The minute they set foot on that campus, Coach Saban didn't have to say no words to them. They came in with it already in them. So that's the big thing that Bama has to get back to is recruiting those young men in-state that already have it in them. I mean, I get it. You go get guys from California, from Texas, from New York, from other areas. That's cool, but they don't have it in them like the guys that came up in the Southeast region and in the state.
I agree. That's a great point that I didn't see. Those were in-state guys. So these guys that are from California and Florida and even some on the East Coast, I think was it Quentin Williams? Somebody came from the East Coast. Barmore. Was it Barmore?
Barmore.
Okay. He even had the East Coast accent, I remember. Man, look at these great D linemen. Quentin Williams, Barmore. Man, I don't know. I guess we got spoiled. Stephen M. Smith, we got spoiled because we had these guys and we thought, oh, we'll get another Quentin Williams. Oh, we'll get another Jonathan Allen. We'll get another H.John Robinson. And H.John Robinson is still nasty in the NFL. He's still balling out.
Very much so.
I saw him on Sunday. So, even Deshaun Hand, I'm not sure he's in the NFL still, but, I guess we just got spoiled, man. We thought we were just going to reload all these guys, and we didn't quite get there yet.
Well, the main thing here is, Ray, is part of that reloading process in recruiting is identifying, okay, who's got the traits that are needed at Alabama at every position. And, Bama has missed on guys that they didn't have those traits. You got to get back to having those traits of competitiveness, of fire energy, of a nonstop motor, of when those lights come on, you know what time it is. Bama got away a little bit from getting those guys. When that light switch is on, they know, okay, it's go time. You got to get back to the players that recognize it's go time.
I agree. I just wanted to say that, man. Just if we could just get some of that attitude back in the front seven. What's the guy's name? The ex. I like him, and I want to see more of him on the ex players. Man, what's his name? It was the show you had.
Was it
Reggie
Marvin
Ragland.
Constant?
Was it Marvin? Oh, I like that dude.
Yeah,
He is entertaining. Hey, it could even be a show with just you and him. Just but I like to watch that. But I love all the ex players. I'm not picking sides, but I'm just saying your channel is entertaining. Bama Insider, I like it, but they could do more. They have more money too, so they able to do more. But you do a lot for what you have, and I appreciate your show, and I'm going to donate as well. Yeah, man, we just got to get that attitude back, man. People aren't as afraid of us, really. Until we have, we've always had like a strong safety. We got Helms. He does scare people. But the front seven, man, we don't have nobody off the edge. Quarterbacks' uniforms used to have grass stains and dirt stains. We played CSU. This guy's uniform, if you remember that was back when we had Jalen Hurts, I think. No, that was Tua. We played CSU. I think the quarterback's jersey was barely on. It was almost torn off.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's what you remember. That you remember. That's what I'm saying, man. And yeah, it was CSU, but we did the same thing to other quarterbacks. It wasn't just because it was CSU. We did that to even SEC teams. So if we don't bring that back, I don't see us winning. I don't see us winning because every year we won, we had a nasty defense every year.
Appreciate my man Ray from Colorado calling into the show, giving us his thoughts here. And I said this before, Eli also. It all starts in the recruiting evaluations. Just because somebody's a 5-star, right? Just because somebody's a 4-star does not necessarily mean they have the traits to fit your defensive system or even your offensive system. But since we're talking defense, your defensive system, Bama has to return to getting those guys that fit every criteria of their defensive system. But then they got to get back to getting those guys that have those special qualities where when you watch them play, everybody follows that guy. When that person talks, it's like, I'm going to punch you in your chest if you say anything. So-and-so's talking. Like the guys in recent years, people talk so much about Jonathan Allen. When Jonathan Allen spoke, everybody else shut up. And if you tried to talk, it would kill you. That's just how menacing that dude was. Ashawn Robinson used to swallow a whole podium. Like he was a 50-year-old man in an 18-year-old man body. That man looked at you, you were like, oh, snap. Jaron Reed the same way. Reuben Foster the same way. My goodness, y'all, do y'all not know Tony Brown had teams scared to death for the kickoff? Tony used to walk through your pregame warm-up, no shirt on, and just be looking at you talking junk. You mentally defeated before the ball even kicked off. Those guys was just different dudes. And that's what you got to get back to, recruiting those guys that fit your criteria, but then they also have those unique qualities that you can't deny that. You want to play with that. Bama used to have an old saying, savages want to play with savages. You got to get back to that, especially on defense. Y'all shout out my man Tobias from Fresno, that $50 donation, 50-piece right there. Helping us out there on the show. Dance and Stephen love that also. Cool call topic here, Eli. Jalen Hurts is untouchable right now, y'all. Them Eagles? Fly, Eagles, fly? They 7-0 right now. Cooking. Took care of the Pittsburgh Steelers 35-13, and Pittsburgh got a good defense. Cameron Hayward, J.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Levi Wallace. Pittsburgh got some dudes on defense. Jalen Hurts threw for a career-high 4 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts is having a good season. Great season. He's got over 2,000 total yards offensively. Got like 20 touchdowns total, 2 picks. Got like 3 to 4 games with 2+ touchdown passes. 4 games with a passer rating over 100. Dude is flat balling. Flat balling. Hurts having a Pro Bowl type season. And now finally, the ESPN pundits are giving him the credit he deserves. Man's playing outstanding football right now. Big ups to the Jalen Hurts. We take a break right now, folks. Don't touch that dial. We get back. We tidy up loose ends. Updates here on DJ Dale and Jaheim Otis. Will these two, or at least one, be able to go against LSU? We'll wrap it up with that after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back in here to the action from the break. Number one form source here for Bama football news, in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of TDA. Producer Eli Walker in the building. Thanks to all of you, all of the phone calls, the donations, the conversations. Continue hitting that like button at 87 likes, trying to get this to 100. You give us that thumbs up, hit that like button. Appreciate all of you for that support. Got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So for all of your swagger, sauce, drip, clothing, cultural, fashion needs, check us out right now. TDAwear.com. We got your hoodies. We got your joggers. We got your leggings. We got all that you need to have. Get you that gear right now. Supporting your football program and the brand, getting you that information. TDAwear.com. Showing that support to Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Also, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. You got to check out the Bama Standard with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC linebacker, former Bama legend Marvin Constant, 2-time national championship running back, USFL champion Bo Scarborough. Yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. We got some outstanding guests tomorrow. We got Ryan Fowler, the host of the Game Tide 100.9. He's coming on. Former Bama running back Trent Richardson coming on. And we could have one of the greatest to ever play in Alabama. He recently made the Seattle Seahawks Ring of Honor. Sean Sweetfeet Alexander could be on the show as well. So you don't want to miss it, folks. Bama legends, fun, entertainment, laughter, and even poking fun at my own expense. The Bama Standard tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here on TDA's YouTube channel. But right now, we look at two defensive linemen, but Alabama fans are asking the question, will they play Saturday against LSU? That being DJ Dale and Jaheim Otis. I understand the Alabama interior defensive line has not been getting the push, not been getting the consistent pass rush it needs to. That's why so much pressure is on Will Anderson and Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell, known as the cheetah package, to do this. But, in positive news here, both DJ Dale and Jaheim Otis were in practice today. Now, Coach Saban did not unveil what their injuries were against Mississippi State. Neither the two played. They're in street clothes. All Saban said, hey, they're listed as day-to-day. We hope we can get them back. Too early to call right now. That's what Nick Saban said. But today, both guys practiced. Both guys went through drills. Both guys went through defensive line things. According to the film that I saw, Eli, they look pretty good out there. I think you saw the film also, Eli. So they look pretty good out there. Saban said today that they both have practiced. They have both practiced throughout the week. He will see how they both progress. Hopefully by Saturday, you get one, if not both, back. Jaheim Otis has looked good as a freshman. Really good freshman year as a nose tackle. DJ Dale kind of been playing in spots. He had the only sack for Alabama against Tennessee. I mean, Dale has had moments where he has shown up, and then Dale has also had moments where, you know, he doesn't give you that push, that consistent, violent push that you need. While the Bama Nation wants Jaheim Otis to kind of grow into that guy. Bama also, you've got Byron Young and Tim Smith and Jamil Burrows, Jamarian Latham. Damon Payne has gotten into the action as well. All of this because Justin Aboigbe out for the rest of the season. Had a procedure done to his neck, so he's out for the rest of this season. He can come back for a fifth year if he wants to do that, but we'll see if Aboigbe chooses that route. But Dale and Otis start practice this week, practice today. Hopefully, they can continue to progress, and at least one of these two will be out here on Saturday against LSU, because that's what Bama needs, right? Interior pressure, hit in the pocket, collapse in the pocket, getting hands up to knock balls down, doing everything you possibly can to affect Jayden Daniels' vision as a passer. That's what you want to do. You want to affect his vision as a passer. And you do this by getting your hands up in the air, knocking passes down, preventing him from having a clean, clear throwing lane. Because Daniels, like all quarterbacks, they have a clean, clear throwing lane. They're going to kill you. They're going to take you apart. But if you take away the throwing lane, you don't allow them to step up, then you have more so of a chance to have success out there on the field. But we'll see how Dale and Otis progress throughout the week of practice. As always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage, entertainment on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. And you download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, your man, I'll be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. You can do this. Have this sent to your door. That link found in the description. You're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine. You go to touchdownalabama.com today You click join, become a member or a subscriber today. That link in the description. You're trying to get your hands on the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at We Own thefourthquarter.com. That link in the description as well. People, don't forget the Bama Standard tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on the TDA YouTube channel with Justin Riley, comedy legend Steve Brown, all SEC legend Bama linebacker legend Marvin Constant, two-time national champion, USFL championship running back Bo Scarborough, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Also, we got Ryan Fowler, host of The Game, Tide 100.9 coming on. Former Bama running back, two-time national champion Trent Richardson coming on. And we could have Sean Sweet Feet Alexander on as well. You do not want to miss that. Want to shout out my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, coming on here, giving us his thoughts on this 2023 signing class, especially James Smith, Quay Russaw, in terms of the Iron Bowl recruiting trail with Auburn giving Brian Harsin the axe there. Want to shout out you guys, the incredible fans of Bama football, making this your show, your place, your spot to talk Crimson Tide. All the donations, conversations, phone calls, chats on our YouTube chat line. Thank you guys. That thumbs up, liking the show. Appreciate you guys. Also, our own Eli Walker in the production studio, handling his thing from behind the scenes. Always got to show love to Eli right there. Until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands, children, school in here, school week, but continue doing the right thing, fun thing, good thing, smart thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. You get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself, you protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. You've been listening to In My Own Words.